Hi, Zach Reiser here, and welcome back to another Effects Pedals Tips and Tricks. Today I'm going to be discussing one of my all-time favorite things to do with effects pedals, which is combine delays. For this demonstration, I am using two of my all-time favorite delays, one of which recently came into my possession. I have the Moog MF-104 Super Delay, it's an analog delay, and then I have the Donner Prince Boonar, which is a great digital emulation of the classic Benson Echo Rec. In this video, I'm not going to be doing a thorough demonstration of either pedal. For that, please check out my review videos of both of these pedals, which I will link to in the description below. So let's start with the slightly more obvious reason as to why you might have multiple delay pedals on your board, and that's because delays sound vastly different from each other. So just to give you a quick demonstration of how different delay pedals can really be, these two are polar opposites from each other. I have them both set on the same tempo. I have the Boonar on a single repeat, and here is my bass's dry tone with a little bit of compression, actually a lot of compression, from the Cali 76 from Origin Effects. And now let's run that into the Boonar. Now a similar delay speed and a similar amount of repeats with the luscious analog repeats from the Moog MF-104M. So in regards to having multiple delays on your board because of the difference in sound, hopefully you can see that with these two delays, it would be useful, if you really like delays, to have both on your board. So I'm going to get off the discussion of using them separately because where it really gets cool is when you combine delays. So as I said before, I have these delays set at the same tempo, but the interesting thing is that when you combine two delays at the exact same tempo, you get a very interesting stereo effect to your delay. So really quick, here's the Moog MF-104M by itself. Okay, and now here is the Boonar by itself. And now I'm going to put them both on together. And by the way, for this whole video, I have the Moog MF-104M running into the Boonar. They're in just in series, kind of cascading like that. So here's them together. And you can hear, since the delay times are just ever so slightly different, you get this little bit of flanging almost. So one more setting using a similar delay time. I've just barely tweaked the Boonar's delay time so that it's slightly different than the Moog's. And what happens is as the repeats go farther and farther out, the delay starts to separate just a tiny bit, and you get this little multi-tap repeat at the end of your repeat. So here's some of that. So now let's get into what is really fun about having two delays on your pedal board, which is that you can combine them at different rates to get multi-tap rhythmic delays. Now, people that are familiar with the Boonar might be wondering why I would need this, because the Boonar is a multi-tap delay. So for instance, I can turn on playback head 4 and 3, and I get essentially a dotted eighth note stacking in to a quarter note, and it sounds like this. But it does not sound the same as if I put the Moog on the dotted eighth and run that into only the quarter on the Boonar, which sounds like this. It's a richer, lusher multi-tap, in my opinion, because what's happening is you're getting that fat, warm analog delay from the Moog, and that's being fed into the quarter note delay on the Boonar. A little bit more of that. Now with these two delays in particular, it is incredibly cool once you get them synced because I have multiple quantized delay time settings. So for instance, I did this at the beginning of the video. If I click the long switch on the Moog Foger, I'm going to go from what was a dotted eighth note and turn it into a dotted quarter note, and you'll hear the difference. So here is the short switch, which is dotted eighth. And now let's click that long switch. Back to the short setting, so the Moog is essentially playing the dotted eighth of the Boonar's quarter note. Now, I can of course play with the 16th, 8th, dotted eighth, and the quarter on the Boonar, so a little bit of that. Here is, just to start us off, the dotted eighth into the quarter. But now if I turn off the quarter, and I turn on the eighth note, it's a different sound. Back to the dotted eighth, or back to the quarter on the Boonar. Back to the eighth. And then finally, the Moog running into the 16th note on the Boonar. And then just because I can, flick the Moog into long, and now I have a dotted quarter note running into a 16th note. So hopefully you see that the multi-tap rhythmic delay options with two separate delays is a very unique sound. Now there are, of course, dual delay pedals out there, or pedals like the Boonar that are multi-tap delays, and you can get these rhythmic delay settings, but they're not as interesting, in my opinion, or as rich as when you combine two separate delays. So if you have tap tempo, like you do on the Moog MF-104, you can tap in whatever rhythm you choose, whatever your heart's desire. So I've put a quarter note on the Boonar, and now I've tapped in a triplet quarter note on the Moog for this kind of fun shuffle rhythmic delay. Whoop, I gotta turn the Moog on. And real quick with these same settings, I just wanted to turn the feedback down so you can hear it without quite so much wash. And just because I can with the Boonar, I have clicked it to eighth notes now, same triplet quarter note on the Moog, and now I get this kind of galloping sound. So hopefully you understand at least why I have multiple delays on my pedal board. It may not be everybody's cup of tea, but if you're a delay freak like me, it is incredibly fun to have lots of different delay textures and timbres that multiple pedals can offer you. So if you liked this video, please subscribe below. It really helps me out. And if you have any comments or questions, put them below and I will try to include them in a future video. So I will be back very soon with more pedals and effects reviews, tips and tricks, performance videos, and whatever else I can think of. Thank you so much for watching.